Well, we're joined now by digital commentator Kevin Poulter. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. What do you make of the seriousness of these Guardians of Peace hacker threats?
Well, it's obviously a very serious issue for Sony. Not only are we talking about the terrorist threats that are happening, real threats of violence, but for Sony, this is a huge issue for them. The data protection issues, the data security issues, the hack itself is potentially going to cost them a lot of money, and possibly even more than just by pulling a film for a couple of weeks.
And one of the reasons, do you think, that it might cost them a lot more is because Sony themselves were warned by their lawyer and their internal the systems that they were vulnerable to a hack attack, and they did nothing about it.
Well, Sony unfortunately had been hit before. Back in 2011, the PlayStation was hacked, and thousands, if not millions, of people's security, credit card details, information was spread around. That ended up costing them, I think they're estimating, about $171 million at the time. They've been warned before, but back in 2007, one of their directors of security has said, look, it's a risk. We know it's a risk, and it's a risk that we're prepared to accept. I'm not going to spend $10 million on averting that risk for saving $1 million, while it's costing them a lot more than $1 million already.
It will do now.
Well, absolutely, because, of course, Sony employers are now starting to sue following leaks of personal data and all that sort of thing. And clearly the contention is that, as Heather mentioned there, Sony has not provided adequate security to prevent the breach.
That's right, and it's not just current employees either. Former employees have started 2 class actions, saying that Sony should have done something more at the start. They should have even gone as far as to pull the film. Now, this is unprecedented. We've not seen anything like this before. And around the world, various states in America have different laws, of course, but here in Europe, at the moment, we still have limited rights of recourse, and the individuals themselves would potentially struggle with a claim as employees. It might be a relatively small fine for Sony, but until the law changes in Europe, they potentially could get away with a lot for a very little cost to them as a brand. So let's wait and see.
OK, thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.